Ẹ kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be listening to me. My name is Kayode Emola, and I want to quickly share this video because of the happenings in both Yoruba land and in Nigeria. So I wrote an article last week, Yoruba's Road to Sovereignty, and I made mention of the 5 million signatures the Yoruba people got vis-a-vis referendum, how are we going to get Yoruba nation. And quite a few people got in touch with me. Some sent me messages, some sent me recorded videos, and some people I had to talk to, and some people were asking that how are we going to get Yoruba nation? So what next? Is the United Nations coming to declare Yoruba nation? First, I think we need to understand some things and how we got here. So first on the list I'll be explaining is, what is a referendum? Because we started it to say we want referendum. Referendum is just, simply put, it's a simple vote. So if you go to Wikipedia say, so before we go to Wikipedia, what's the definition, dictionary definition of referendum? A general vote by the electorate on a single political question, which has been referred to them for a direct decision. So what's the decision? Should Yoruba stay in Nigeria or should Yoruba leave? And should every other indigenous people stay in Nigeria or leave? That's the simple question we have asked ourselves as Yorubas. And we started this campaign vigorously and earnestly. A lot of people started it from 2018. I joined in 2020. People have been doing their own several things across several years, which I'm not going to go there. So now, what's the Wikipedia? So we've got the dictionary definition. Now, this is what Wikipedia says. A referendum is a direct vote by the electorate on a proposal, law, or political issue. This is in contrast to an issue being voted on by a representative. So it's not like maybe a presidency or a governorship or a councillor or a chairman election. So referendum is it's a big issue. Big issues are taken into referendum. And so we have been calling for referendum to decide whether we want to go into to be part of Nigeria or not. And that was, we were asking this question before the 2023 elections. If we don't get that question answered, then we are being robbed of our liberty. Now, in government, so what is in government? This is how referendum is seen. So referendum measures are laws recently passed by the legislature that are placed on the ballot because of petitions signed by voters. So listen to that word, petitions signed by voters. Referendum bills are proposed laws referred to the electorate by the legislature. So how does signed petition work? Now, we know that majority of all these things, I will not say they are advanced things, because it's part of our culture that the Westerners took for themselves, and then they deny us of that liberty. Now, in the UK and in some several other countries, if 10,000 people sign a petition, that matter, a committee would automatically be set up to look into the situation. If that petition grows to 100,000, then the legislature must debate it. It becomes a must. It must be debated in parliament. That's across several other parliaments in Western climes. But in Nigeria, the reverse is the case. Even if the whole Nigeria says they want things, the few cabals that are politicians can decide they want several other things that does not pertain to what the people want. And so we started that. Let's have we started by online polling. We started by drawing awareness, and the referendum was to draw awareness to say, if Nigeria asks us to go and decide whether we want to be a part of Nigeria, it should be the Yoruba people to decide, not Nigeria to decide. Yoruba people would decide on their own whether they want to be a part or not a part of Nigeria. And so in 2021, some group, Yoruba Decides, they had over 30,000 people sign the petition calling for the United Nations to recognize Yoruba nation. And the Yoruba Summit Group gave the federal government up until October 20, even before the petition, the Yoruba Summit Group gave the federal government 2020 to decide on restructuring, or they would move to self-determination. We waited for them from 2020 to 2022. Now, today is 9th June, and nothing has been done and nothing has been said. So are we going to wait forever for some other people to decide our future? I don't think so. In February of 2022, we decided that 2022 is a year that Yorubas must decide whether they want to continue to be a part of Nigeria. And we embarked on a 5 million petition. And that 5 million petition was signed. And we say this is a big statement. If it does not scare the federal government, it should scare the international community. And when 5 million people signed the petition, we've taken it to the appropriate international agencies and they recognized it. So what next? People are asking. Does it mean the United Nations is coming to declare Nigeria? Does it mean that the Yorubas are going to pull out of Nigeria? Does it mean... Well, what I can say is that 5 million signatures is a big statement. It's a big statement in the sense that it's even more than all the aggregated votes in Yoruba land. Somebody argued with me to say, oh, you are ingenious or something about the truth and things. And I said, now let's just oppose it. 5 million people signed petition to leave. These are 5 million Yorubas. Now, if you look at the votes in Yoruba land within Nigeria, we've never got 5 million. And the people voting in Yoruba land are not only Yorubas. Take note, they are not only Yorubas. We have Igbos, we have Hausas, we have Fulani, we have TVs, we have Idomas, we have all sorts of people voting in Yoruba land. But this time around, we said only Yorubas, and Yorubas signed that petition to leave. So what is the essence? Somebody would argue that Yorubas are also in other places in the north, in the east, and yes, they vote. Yes, they do. But when you put everything together, we said, okay, let's assume everybody put together in the southwest of Nigeria voted. That's 5 million. So what's going to happen next? Now, before we come to what's going to happen next, I need us to understand how we got into this mess in the first place. After 1833, when the British abolished slave trade, they decided that they were going to stop it. So the British then had over 200 ships sailing across all the waters of the world. So they were able to stop slave cargo vessels wherever they are, because slaves apparently were referred to as cargo. So they were able to stop it. So they were parading the coast, the Pacific coast and things. So they sent a gunboat to Yoruba land. And around 1861, I beg your pardon, the Dosumu crisis in Lagos. And they got the colony of Lagos and docked their ship. They had a consular office there. And it did not stop there. They started ruling Lagos from 1861. And when they started ruling Lagos, they continued until 1884, when they had the Berlin Conference and decided to balkanize the... So between 1884 and 1885, they started balkanizing Africa. in the Berlin Conference, Yoruba land was splitted. Part was given to French, part was given to English. So it continued like that. It continued until 1900. And in 1900, it became Southern Protectorate and Northern Protectorate. Now, the mistake a lot of people always think is that the Northern Protectorate, as at that time, contained Sokoto, Kano, Kaduna. No, the Northern Protectorate was just part of Ilorin, Jeba, and those axes around Mina. That was just Northern Nigeria. Northern Nigeria had nothing to do with Sokoto. It was after that 1900, Lugard was the commissioner. He wasn't a governor general then. He was a commissioner. And he went to fight the princes of the Fulani in Sokoto, in Kano, in the Shehu of Borno. Having defeated these people, he expanded the frontiers. Otherwise, all those lands belonged to the French. So the whole of the northern Nigeria belonged to the French up to Niger Republic, up to Libya. So that French occupied all those places. And when you hear Muhammadu Buhari telling you their cousins are in Maradi in Niger, he's not telling you lie. And that is why they do not feel any affinity to what you call Nigeria today. Now, when we were merged, before we were merged in 1905, they had nothing in the north. Zero, zilk, nothing. So the British government was subsidizing them to the tune of about 314,000 pounds in those days' money. If you multiply it to today's money, that would be 9-point-something million. What was that money doing? That money was only going to provide security. Because the Fulani were on an agenda of conquest, an agenda to annihilate everybody, having defeated the Hausa kingdoms. So theirs was to push down. They've tried 3 times before the British came, but they could not penetrate the south. Never. It was when the Yorubas aligned with them to cause chaos. Because they say to destroy a kingdom, the only way you can destroy a kingdom, especially a powerful kingdom, is to destroy it from within. You cannot destroy it from outside. And so they joined with the Afonja to destroy the Yoruba kingdom. But even with that, the only place they could take was Ilorin. And the Yoruba ceded that land to them. Because of fight, it's not that Yorubas cannot fight or they don't want to fight, but the Yorubas left it and say, let peace reign, let's continue to live. They came several times and could not defeat us. And so, since then, for them, it's been conquest or nothing. So in 1905, Lugard wrote a memorandum, a very long memorandum, suggesting that since the British government and the British taxpayers' money is going to provide security in a land that they're benefiting nothing from, and the British also control the south, why not the British amalgamate the 2 enclaves and make it one amalgam? It's just like joining 2 companies together. And so they amalgamated Nigeria 1st of January 1914. Now, when they amalgamated Nigeria, for you to amalgamate somebody, I think there should be a deliberation. There should be a vote. But we were not given that vote. Why? Because we were treated as colonies. And colonies is like a subjugated word, like we are slaves. They don't want to say we are slaves, but that's more like so. And slaves don't have rights. So we didn't have the right to decide our future there. So it was decided by the British, and they amalgamated us. Even when there was serious protestation by the Lagos people. So that went. In 1945, after the Second World War, countries were now given the right to self-determination in June 1945. It was enacted in the United Nations Charter. And it's even the first charter in United Nations, in the first article, that every indigenous people shall have the right to self-determination. And then in at the back of that, a lot of the African nationalists then started to rise. So Nkrumah rose, Awolowo, Abat Macaulay, and things. Egbe Omo Oduwa was formed then in 1948. And they started pressing the British. They had only one protest in 1949, and the British backed down and said, we are going to give you self-rule. And in 1951, we went into election in what is Western Nigeria. And by 1952, we started self-governance. Between 1952 and 1962, 10 good years was the only progress the nation, Nigeria, can ever attest to. And if we look at it, the British has been ruling this land for upward of 90 years around that time, around 1951. If you calculate from 1861 when they started ruling Lagos. It was not up to 1948 that they created the first university for a population of 16 million in 1914. And then around 1960s, we were about 50 million people. So anybody who wanted education then would have to come to England to get education. So it tells you that one of the tools for subjugation was deliberate concealment of information. They deliberately concealed information that would benefit our people. So our people did not know what was going on. 1861 to 1961 was when they now created University of Lagos. 100 years. But look at the time from 1952 to 1962, 10 solid years. The golden era. In fact, they said 1952 to 1957 was the best year. And by 1962, the Western Nigeria, which is the Yoruba land, was the fastest growing economy in the whole world. Not even Britain could match our achievements. That when we even changed from British pound to Nigerian naira, the naira was higher than the British pound. It wasn't because of the money of Nigeria, it was because of the monies of the Yoruba people. And there are facts and documents which I'm not going to go into today. So our problem started when all these people started jettisoning the Yoruba's achievements. Our education was destroyed, our industries was destroyed, our entrepreneurship was destroyed, and the next thing was to send us out of our land. That today we have over 11,000 people. I said 11,000 people. Over 11,000 Yoruba people working in hospitals across the United Kingdom. We have quite a lot of significant number of people working in other industries. We have a lot of people working in the US, in Canada, in Australia, New Zealand, and several other countries across the world. But our services could not be provided for our Yoruba people. Who is now in our Yoruba land? Okada men, Okada riders, motorcycle riders, tricycle riders, low paid work, low skilled job, that our people cannot even earn 30,000 naira every month. So people are now saying referendum. Are we going to have a referendum before we go? Well, in case you don't know it, we've already had our referendum. And the referendum is saying over 5 million Yorubas are saying they want to leave. If all the people that have been voting have not been more than 5 million, and 5 million people are saying they want to leave, I think it is time for us to start our own Yoruba government. For those people who are still saying, oh, we need to go and get legislative from all the state governors and all the local government and the chairman and this. This is my message to you. As at now, we have zero representation because the Yorubas do not have any parliament. The parliament we have is Nigerian parliament in Abuja, which we don't recognize, which do not legislate for us. As far as we are concerned, they are legislating for themselves and for the northerners and the cabals that owns Nigeria. Now, people look at the coming of Tinubu. Tinubu as the flag bearer of APC. A lot of people are saying, oh, they've given the presidential ticket to the Yoruba people. So it is now turned. So the Yoruba people should sheath their sword and stop their agitation. Now, this is my message. If you like, give the presidency to Tinubu. And if you like, give the vice presidency to a Yoruba man. And if you like, let all Nigerians vote for Tinubu. This is what Yorubas are saying. We are tired of Nigeria. And it is a statement, and it is a statement of fact. There were killings on Sunday of innocent Christians worshiping in their church, calling their God, hacked to death in their prime. Children, mothers, fathers, youth, killed in their prime. It's just the beginning of a big statement by the Fulanis that they are coming for conquest and not interested in presidency. So we do not believe that Yoruba presidency is what we want. What we want is how to govern our own people, to control our own defense, to ensure that our people are safe, to control our education, to ensure that our people have uninterrupted education system where they can also function and achieve whatever thing they want to achieve. We want to make sure we control our health system, our ports, our waterways, our industries, and our development. That is what we are saying, which Nigeria will not give to us, which the presidency will not give to us. So for those who are saying Tinubu is now president, it's time for Yoruba people to stop agitation and come into the Nigerian fold. I'll say the train is past. We are no longer a part of one Nigeria. And I think that statement has been said a million times now. So for those who are saying, what is the way forward? I would say that the way forward is we have not shifted our ground and we are moving even faster than we have been since 2018. And I know for a fact that very soon, and sooner rather than later, the Yoruba nation will sit among the Committee of Nations. A people of over 50 million in one geographical location and over 100 million across the world must have their own representation and representatives in the world center stage. And we cannot cede that to Nigeria. And that is what Nigeria took from us. And for those who are asking that without referendum, the Yoruba cannot go. Yes, we can go. And I will tell you what Lugard said. Now, when Lugard and his cohorts in the 1914s and things were saying about freeing slaves, freeing this is what Lugard wrote in his article, in his report in 1919, page 43. Slavery and free labor. Slavery in northern provinces. I cannot here deal at any length. I'm reading from what Lugard wrote. I cannot here deal at any length with the subject of slavery, but the question of labor supply so intimately affects the development of Nigeria that a few words regarding it would be out of place. It was mentioned in paragraph 2 that in 1900, when the amalgamation of northern Nigeria reverted from the chartered company to the crown, large armies led by Fulani chiefs annually raided for slaves and had depopulated the country. With the conquest of the Muslim states, these organized raids, organized raids, so they were doing it indiscriminately. Going to a war was organized. Going to Sasha was organized. Going to Ibarakpa was organized. Going to Igogon was organized. Going to Yewa was organized. Had power to assert these organized raids led by Fulani chiefs, annually raided for slaves and had depopulated the country. With the conquest of the Muslim states, these organized raids were put to an end by the abolition of the legal status of slavery. A slave had power to assert his freedom. It was not, listen to what Lugard, it was not, however, illegal to possess a slave, but the status was a voluntary one. So we continuing in Nigeria will mean that we have acquiesced, which the Yoruba people have not. All children born after March 31st, 1901, we are free at birth. So that means before then, if they born you in the north, if your parents were slaves, then you are automatically slaves. And that's what they're turning the whole of Nigeria into today. The sudden abolition of the institution, and this is the most important bit, the second bit of his statement. The sudden abolition of the institution of domestic slavery would have produced social chaos. So they have abolished it, but they're not going to tell the people they are free. It's the same thing they want us to do. We've got our Yoruba nation, but they don't want us to say we have gone. But we have gone. Yoruba is no longer part of Nigeria. And the wholesale assertion of their freedom. So if every Yoruba come out tomorrow and say, we are Yoruba, we are no longer part of Nigeria. This is what Lugard was saying then, that if the Northerners did this in 1901, it would be chaos for them, especially for the Northern chiefs. The wholesale assertion of their freedom by slave was therefore discouraged. So what is the United Nations doing? What is the United Kingdom doing? What is the United States doing? Look at the three Uniteds. They are uniting to make us not speak out. They are uniting to say a Yoruba is now the flag bearer, so let us shut up. But the reverse is what they will get. They say, and the wholesale assertion of their freedom by slaves was therefore discouraged. A slave freed by redemption was in native opinion and is in his own eyes truly a free man, while one who was arbitrarily emancipated by government, unless for good cause, or who asserted his freedom by dissertation, was not. Redemption with the cooperation of the native courts was encouraged. So even though you have gotten your freedom, so this is what Lugard was saying, even though the slaves had gotten their freedom, they still need to go to the court and collect a paper to show that they are free. And then it goes on to the next paragraph, result of government policy. Generally speaking, it may be said that today there are no slaves in the Muslim states who are not well aware that they can assert their freedom if they so choose. So for those people who are saying Yoruba cannot assert their freedom, think again. We have the legal right. And now, a lot of people always think the right to self-determination was given to us by the United Nations. No, it was not given to us by the United Nations. It is a God-given right. The right to life. The moment you are born in this world, the moment they conceive you, you have a right to life and a right to decide your life. So it is not United Nations. So a lot of people have this conception that, oh, we will go and beg our politicians. We are not going to beg for our own rights. And that is why the popular musician Fela was singing that they can't dash me my human rights. You can't dash me my own property. How can you tell me I'm gifting you your own property? No, you can't gift me my property. You can gift me your own property, but you can't gift me my own property. So the right to self-determination, it was only being enforced then. So it said, while all persons under 18 years of age are freeborn, in Sokoto, which received tribute in slaves, and where at the time, in its conquest in 1903, the great majority of the laboring class were slaves. So Lugard was saying now that Sokoto was not conquered until 1903. So when they say the amalgamated Nigeria in 1914, or the northern and southern Nigeria, northern and southern Nigeria in 1900 is different from the northern and southern Nigeria in 1914. But let's look at the opposite. Slavery in southern province. In fact, it was even very short, because this is what Lugard wrote. In the southern provinces, the new slavery ordinance decreed the emancipation of all persons, herefore or hereafter born in or brought into the country. A decree of emancipation justified by the successive enactments against slavery in past years, and by the fact that Muslim law which recognized this institution is not applicable in any part of the southern province. So the Muslim laws that recognize slavery in the north was not applicable in any part of the southern province in Nigeria. It wasn't, they didn't call it Nigeria in 1900. It didn't have a name. The name didn't come until 1914. But they will tell you Nigeria, 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 Nigeria. And a lot of people want to die for what they don't know. Nigeria is not our father's property. Nigeria is the creation of Lugard. Nigeria is the great creation of the British imperial system. And we are not slaves. And so those who are waiting that we should go hand in cap to beg Buhari or the House of Assembly or House of Senate or the whatever stupid institutions that they have set up. No, we are not going to do that. We, the Yorubas, are leaving Nigeria, and we are leaving it for good. And we will enact and set up our own systems that will be free, fairer, and provide justice for everyone, both kings and subjects in Yoruba land. Thank you. God bless you.